We're going to rock this town, rock it inside out. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dynasty Pulse. We're going to be drafting a 4-round Dynasty Superflex rookie draft in this episode. Right now, the Lions are killing the 49ers, much to the chagrin of people in my radius, but much to my delight because Jared Goff is going to the Super Bowl again. Hashtag Novato boys. How you doing, Mike?
Oh, man. What do you think? It's 7 o'clock my time.
Refs gave you another one.
And they like they normally do.
Yeah.
And it just happens that way. It's just the way the chips fall.
If there's anything we know about refs, it's that they like Chiefs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
All right. So
go ahead.
You go ahead. You go
ahead.
All right, we're going to start this draft up pretty quick. It's almost halftime of the Detroit Lions pummeling of the San Francisco 49ers. Let's do it. It's go time, and apparently I'm not ready because I didn't know this was going to be rookies. I was all ready for a Dynasty startup draft, and now it's rookies. I picked the turn at 12, and thinking I'm looking at Bijan Robinson late, maybe reaching up for like a Amon-Ra St. Brown or whatever. Instead, I'm waiting 11 rookie picks in, and it's linear, so then I don't even get another pick until the 24th. Everything's fire for me, but I'm ready. I'm still gonna kill it.
That's why you're the champ. I mean, you finished last, right? Like the last pick. It's because you finished as the champ. So that's what happens. Sometimes you're gonna have to play as the champ, and that's what you're gonna do this week.
Sometimes, yeah. All right, and so if you want to get the timer started,
okay. Should I get this going? Okay, I'm gonna start it up. I'm just gonna let everybody know. Starting it up.
I have 12 minutes to wait, so
yeah,
let me get in there.
I'm gonna wait 30 seconds here, and we could talk a little bit about kind of like after our first show here. This is our second one. We're getting into some rookie stuff. We're going to be all over the place, bringing you content, and that's what we do. So let's get it going.
Yeah, and we got some sharps in here. Kevin Coleman, Du Bois is in here. We got FFDF and KL Fantasy from Undroppables. KL Fantasy is a Devi sharp, so he's probably been watching a lot of these guys for a couple years.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you want to claim that last team, since nobody else is hopping in here,
you can go ahead and do it. What up, Art? Okay, so I'm going to start.
No, I mean for you to set it on auto pick.
Okay. Oh yeah, hold on.
No, I didn't. I mean,
it'll go to auto pick right away.
We're all over the place. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're starting right now.
Oh, come on, dude.
All right, so we have an idea here on where the 101 is going to be. Even if it goes to auto here, like we already know that it's...
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and then pretty naturally, I would assume that it'd be Marvin Harrison next, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, and that's how the big board goes. I am thankful that right now I don't have any 101s. Because I'm not as high on Caleb Williams as other people are. I would rather trade out of that pick and grab somebody else with a package. And if I had any 101s, that's exactly what I would do. Is I would trade out and let somebody else take Caleb.
Because you think there's other prospects, or you're just not as high on him.
I'm not as high on him, first of all, and I understand he hits all the marks and everything. Jayden Daniels I like better as a quarterback.
Yeah, and I saw that one coming too. That was I was hoping he would slip to me, but I'm not so lucky. Now, this is where it get interesting here because it looks like around our quarterbacks here to start. We have Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels. We'll see. Oh, there it is, Marvin Harrison. Now it's up to me.
MHJ.
And I really wanted Daniels here, and I just really, really like where. Yeah, I'm gonna go Neighbors here.
Oh, come on, dude.
So I have a draft in which I have the 2 and the 3, and I'm going to be going with Neighbors and Bowers with those 2 picks.
Let's go, team. Let's go.
So 4 Neighbors at 4. Of course, that the league that I'm talking about isn't Superflex, which changes things.
Yeah. All right, so Dunze, Bowers, we knew that was going to go. Troy Franklin, yeah, I mean, he is in a lot of boards, he's going in the top 5. Ooh, I like the worthy pick there.
That's my boy Art. What up, Art? He's in my home league, so I can say I'm taking Neighbors and Bowers, and he's drafting later than that, so he can't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Worthy, I was hoping that he would fall to me.
So now you're going to see a couple. We're waiting here to see when the first running back might come off the board. Some people were saying that they might see one in the first round. I'm thinking that I might see one from you maybe in your 12th pick, knowing that it might not see one come back to you.
Yeah, and also if this is just simply a rookie draft, quarterbacks are already quarterbacks. So I'm taking Trey Benson.
So yeah, okay.
And K. Coleman takes K. Coleman.
Yeah, I love it. So now we got Tiger
wide receiver value. I'm waiting because this class is deep. I like Adonai Mitchell. I like him a lot, almost as much as I like Xavier Worthy. And if this was a real league and I was forced to do something, I would have taken Penix over JJ McCarthy.
Come on.
Mitchell, okay. Now it's up to me, and then you got McCarthy here, who's a quarterback. I like a couple guys here. I also like a running back in this slot. And I'm really high on this pick here, depending on where he goes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with Blake Corum.
Come on.
I think there's a really good chance he goes to the Chargers, and we know with Harbaugh there, that might be a very good fit for him. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, that would be a great fit. And of course, all these things are going to change with combine and draft. But at this point, Corum is my RB4.
Yeah, okay. Behind probably Braylon. Who else?
Braylon is my highest ranked running back in this draft. But at value, I think Trey Benson has a little bit more of name value, so you have to reach a little bit more. Jonathan Brooks, I think, is going to be phenomenal too. People are fading running backs in this draft. I think those 4 especially they're as good as anything. They're not Bijan, they're not Breece Hall, but they're as good as anything that anything else that has been coming out the last couple years.
I agree. And yeah, there isn't a Gibbs, there isn't a Bijan, there isn't a Brees Hall in this draft, but there is some good guys that are going to get some experience, and they're going to get some playing time, right? Like it's just the way it's gonna go. And I like the Brooks call there. He is injured. He's coming off an injury, only playing 1 year in college too. You could see a team making a move on him in the second round or third round, and he could be a guy that might be the one that down the line could be the number one producer in this class because of his talent.
Yep. Now, the two guys that I was hoping to grab with my 12th pick, Braylon Allen and Audric Estime, they just went. I'm really high on Estime too. Estime, I've talked about him in other podcasts. He is the 3-year declare, over 225 pound prototype that we look for, similar to Braylon Allen, only not quite as big.
Come on.
And Penix goes. I was considering Penix there, but I think what I'm going to do is, now I'm going back and forth right now between Jalen Polk and Jalen McMillan, and I'm going to go with Polk, although I do like McMillan better. I think McMillan has fallen off because of injury, and he might be a value later. So obviously, if he's still there at 12 when it's my pick, I'm going to grab him.
You might get him there too. I like this one here. I'm going to go with Roman Wilson. I think there's a lot of variables there with him, and I like his size. I like what I see in him. So,
oh, come on, dude.
In this class, there's a lot of guys that are right along that edge there. So we'll see what happens. See, McMillan goes. Corley
there goes McMillan. Now, I have my eye on Johnny Wilson at this point. I like him a lot. Oh, and Son of Jerry. Son of a Jerry.
Son of a Jerry.
Sounds like a line from Seinfeld. Another one who's interesting down there is J. Michael Sturdivant. He was a UCLA wide receiver that transferred away from Cal and did so at a time where Cal got a competent quarterback in, and Sturdivant would have had a bigger year if he had just stuck around. Poops on your face, buddy.
Now, where are you going to head after this one?
I'm going with Jamari Thrash. If we're looking at the end of the third round, I think Jamari Thrash is going to be an absolute steal. There goes Sturdivant, and I'm taking Thrash.
Yeah, let's see what Colin does here. Lloyd.
Marshawn Lloyd. He helped me in my Devy League. He's good good running back out of USC. And
that was Washington. I liked him. He was going to be my pick. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to see if he's still around after this one.
Just a little spoiler. I literally have the last pick, so it won't matter. But I'm going tight end.
Yeah. Okay, it's my turn to pick, and I'm going to go with Jacob Cowing.
Oh, come on, dude.
Smaller guy. We'll see what he does in the Senior Bowl this weekend. I think this is a big week for him. Show what he can do. Like smaller guy, really, really fast. I don't know. I'm looking to see what he can fit in this NFL somewhere.
Sleeper doesn't like these picks. I'm getting all kinds of sound effects. Come on, dude. Yeah, Senior Bowl is going to be interesting. Essentially, what I'm going to do when I sit down for my rookie drafts is I'm going to separate the 3-year guys from the older guys. And when it comes down to making a pick, if I have 2 guys in mind and one of them was a 3rd-year declare and the other is a 4th-year senior, then, Barner goes. That's a little bit high for him. I'm going with the younger guy. That's just how it works out. The different metrics that you look for in a running back, 225 pounds, certain speed types, under 4.5, certain heights and weights for wide receivers, things like that. They all get added. They all get supplemented by what year they declare. And then we look at breakout year, things like that. Guys like MHJ breaking out in his second year. But I'm going Dallin Holker.
All right. That ends the draft. So I'm just going to close her down. Okay. And convert to a lead.
Shut her down!
No, I'm just joking. Yeah, man. Okay, so if we can look at this a little bit more in depth, the first round kind of, is there like a ticking thing that's still going on? Maybe I'll just, yeah. So we've looked at the first round. It went pretty standard, right? You got the only reach here that looks like a reach could be this Jayden Daniels here at number 2, but I don't think that's far off. I think that he may actually start slipping in that range come draft day, depending on where he goes and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, Drake Maye has been the consensus number 2 in the class for a while. But when you're talking about fantasy, you look at the rushing upside, and Jayden Daniels had more 100-yard rushing games than just about anybody else. In fantasy, I like Drake Maye. I think real NFL draft, I think he's the number 2. But in fantasy, I have no problem Jayden Daniels being my first drafted quarterback.
He's got the kind of like the Lamar Hurts upside with his run game, and I mean, yeah, he might not be as prolific as those two guys, but he has that. He has that part of his game. Maye's more like.
Well, he wasn't. His numbers were better than Lamar's and better than Hurts, and he's more polished as a passer already than Hurts was. Yeah. So when you look at comps like that. If you want, Hurts is what? Sometimes a QB1 in startups. So you have a guy coming into the league that looks like he's better than Hurts already. That's a good recipe.
So where would you have taken at number 4 there if you were me? Would you have gone Neighbors or would you have gone Maye?
I absolutely would have gone Neighbors.
Okay, yeah, and that's where I stand too. Like I probably, if Daniels would have been there at 4, I probably would have picked him over Neighbors. But if Maye would have slipped into the top 3, that's how I got him ranked. As far as the top 3 go, is I got Williams, Harrison, Daniels, and then Neighbors. But you can interchange those guys depending on need of your league.
Yeah, and depending on your team need, I wouldn't have had a problem going with Bowers there either.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Bowers is a great prospect as well. So. We're looking here. I don't see anything shocking else in the first round. You got like Troy Franklin, Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas. They all can be interchangeable. Really depends on landing spots for me. Really, I think for me, I think I have Thomas and Worthy ahead of Franklin. That's just my take on that situation. What are your thoughts there? Where do you got those guys?
I love Brian Thomas Jr. I had him in Devy. He came out of nowhere basically for young Devy players, and I love LSU, but I get the most Quentin Johnston in the NFL vibes from him.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, he's a high point guy. He's a contested catch guy. I don't know if he's necessarily a separation guy. Same body type. Works in a specific offense in a specific role, and he was that at LSU, and it was the number 1 offense in college football. I don't know how that's going to translate based on where he goes in the draft. I like Bo Nix's progression. One thing about he and Penix both had a lot of flaws that I saw a couple years ago, and just through watching tape, they seem to get past those flaws over the last couple of years. Now, a lot of times, and again, I'm gonna talk about junior declares. A lot of times, if you have a guy who's he has enough hype to come out as a number 1 or number 2 pick, they don't necessarily have everything polished. And I think that was what held Nix back. Was he wasn't polished yet. What held Penix back was injuries. But even Penix in 2022 tape that I watched, he stared down receivers. His footwork wasn't great. Watching him through the season, that all changed. He was going through progressions. He wasn't staring people down, and his footwork looked good. until the national championship game where his footwork totally regressed. He was all over the place and didn't do it.
That was a good defense there in
Yeah.
Michigan. And to be honest, like those 3 wide receivers in that offense for Washington, I think made Penix look a lot better than he actually was as a prospect. I think he made them those guys made him look better than he actually is, in my opinion, from what I see there. You got 3 really, really good young wide receivers there that are,
So in that group of 4, we went Odunze, Franklin, Worthy, and Thomas. And you know me, buddy, I have them ranked as Odunze, Worthy, Franklin, and Thomas.
Okay, and I have Odunze, Thomas, Worthy, and Franklin. So very similar. We're all there with those guys. And I actually had Polk as well up there, and I liked where you picked him on the turn there. I really like that. I like him ahead of, I like Polk ahead of Walker for sure. Tez Walker, 100%. I don't like that as a prospect very much.
I love him.
I know you do. He's your kind of guy though. That's your type of guy.
And Adonai Mitchell too. I think I would go Coleman, Walker, and Mitchell over Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So that Thomas is reach for me. Nix, I would go Penix over Nix, and then JJ McCarthy, depending on his landing spot. I don't know if I would draft anywhere in the first 2 rounds. I feel like those top 5 quarterbacks, Williams, Daniels, Maye, Nix, and Penix, I think those guys have the opportunity to come in and be year 1 starters. I don't know if JJ McCarthy is that. And so I wouldn't, especially pre-draft, if you have a rookie draft and it's before the NFL draft even starts, which is crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy to have a draft.
Role was going to be.
Mm-hmm. So,
happening. We just keep whoop whoop. I like Benson. Real life, I'd probably take Braylon Allen first, or at least I have Braylon Allen. I feel like his fantasy career is the best in the class, but if you go into a draft looking for value and you can get a guy later after a reach, then I have no problem reaching for Benson.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. Yeah, I think it played out pretty good. Well, obviously this is liquid because it's going to look way different when draft day comes after the Senior Bowl too. I think things are going to look a little bit different with that clump of wide receivers in the middle there that we're on the verge of seeing. So a lot's going to happen over the next little while. This is the one of many here, and we're going to continue bringing them as we go.
Yeah, and next time we're going to do a Superflex startup.
You heard it first.
I'll invite you, but you don't have to go if you don't like them.
I love them. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm in. I think we needed to get a little exposure on the rooks here, and now we can move it into that as well. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, so are we calling it, and we're going to go finish watching the 49ers debacle, and are we going to pick this up and talk about it later, or have we talked it into the dirt, and we're just going to say goodnight, everybody?
I think we're going to say goodnight, everybody. I think that was awesome. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
I want to thank you from the Fantasy Burn Studios in Northern California. I'm Biggs.
I'm Grindberg.
We'll see you next time, and I hope you win.